questions, so go ahead.
Coach, you kind of talked early in the fall about Marvin Grant and how maybe the decision of how much Cinco/Hockey would play would depend on the other guys around him, how good you felt about depth at linebacker, how good you felt about depth at safety. So can you describe that process a little bit and kind of where you sit at both positions?
He is playing both still. He kind of jumps back and forth. Again, just depends on who else is out there, who's playing around him. So he's got a good amount of free safety reps, but over the last week he's probably hit that outside backer nickel spot a little bit more. So I see that I'm confident he'll play both during the course of the game, just again dependent on who's playing with him.
What is the process like, just following up on that and trying to balance giving him the reps at his primary position versus getting him acclimated to something he hasn't done as much?
Yeah, in the spring he got a lot of reps at that nickel position. So we actually kind of talked like, hey, we don't want to forget about him playing free safety either. So so he, so it was spring was more of the nickel. Early fall camp is probably more of the safety spot. Now he's kind of just blending them. So yeah, and I think DK McDonald does a good job of counting those reps, and so we kind of know how much he's playing at each, and so really when you're learning the defense for those guys back there, they're really mentally they're learning all the positions back there. So the safety spots and the nickel spot. So I think that makes it a little bit easier than if he was in a different room than that position.
Hey, Brian, Lance was talking about OJ a little bit ago and just how focused he is on really making the most of his last run. And I wonder what's been your favorite part about coaching OJ Burrow?
OJ is such a good kid, just so nice all the time, and really coachable, like attentive, listens, responds. He's very, I think he's smart in the classroom. He's smart on the football field. So, and really, what's been good is probably in 2021, our first year here, he was doing all that at 165 pounds and really taking his lumps, physically in a lot of ways. And, now he's probably put on 20 pounds. And so to see the physical development, and then he's continued, just a humble kid, and really works hard all the time. And so, talk about like joy, a joy to coach, and a joy to watch develop. That's him. And you guys probably weren't on the practice today, but man, he had an awesome day today. So, and I'm really excited for him, because I think this year is going to be the kind of year that he's really been looking for.
I know you're busy, but did you get a chance to watch him on the mic'd up thing they did with him?
I didn't. Did he?
You have to check it out. Yeah,
Okay.
Because that's part of it, right? He's finding his voice a little bit more, and
Yeah.
that was fun to watch. But I wonder how much you've seen of that.
Yeah, he really is. I would think for his first couple of years, you didn't really hear him talk. So, but we really encouraged him in that way, and he quite honestly he plays a spot out there where you got to talk all the time, and so you got to put your inhibitions away out there and scream your communication, and he's really taken a hold of that, and I'm really proud of him.
I'm wondering just broadly, who have been some guys that maybe caught your attention during camp?
I think there's a few. Dylan Woodkey has a defensive end. Probably, I feel like we're going to get more out of him than maybe we thought we might at the start of things. Just not knowing really who where he came from and all those kind of things. He looks like he can, he'll be a good solid player. Probably said this before, but I think of guys like DJ Withers on the inside is just watch him this year. He's going to have a great year, and he's really a tough guy to block in there, and he's super intense and relentless, and I think that's really speaks well for him. you know, I think some of our linebackers, Cornell Wheeler, you know, we've asked him to really kind of step up into the limelight of things, and he's really responded good to that. He's you know, for the Rich Miller of last year, he's trying to step into that role a lot more, and he's doing a really good job of it. Plus, he's playing well. J.B. Brown has really flashed at linebacker. Happy with what he's done, and again, he's really going to be a downhill explosive player that we like. I think a guy you know, everybody knows about him, but Mello Dotson's had a really good fall camp also. I just talked today, we're just watching film before I walked in here, and you know, there's plays that come his way now, and he thuds up aggressively on ball carriers and receivers, where I said, hey, man, if that was him 2 years ago, he would have been backpedaling away from a play like that. So I think he's had a lot of growth, and you know, we expect big things from him, but I believe he's really trying to be the whole person, right? You know, the whole player, and so those are some guys that have kind of really stuck out to me for sure.
Coach Lappel talked a little bit about Joe, obviously playing a cast right now, but just what have you seen from him during his first game with you guys?
Well, I'd like to see him without a cast on. You know, I think it's been about practice 3 that happened, so he's really been limited, and he's a super good kid. He's really eager to learn, to prove himself. He plays aggressively. You know, you look at him, we have a number of defensive ends like him that are young, they're long, they're athletic, they run. So, you know, that's going to be a good position for years to come around here, and he's one of them. He just, like I said, it's been tough on him because he's sort of playing with one hand, and I don't know that we've fully seen all that he's capable of, but I know that he wants it, and I know that he practices hard, and to me, it's just a matter of time. Unfortunately for him, he's just been limited enough this fall where, you know what I mean, he's still a little bit on the back burner.
Obviously, expectations on Mello and Kobe are high, but what do you expect out of this season? What are you hoping to see out of the field?
Out of
Kobe and Mello.
Yeah, well, they gotta step up and play to their capabilities, and I feel like they're both motivated to do that. And you know, last year is last year, and whatever, you know, the accolades that come, whatever people say about you, that's just something people say about you. And you know, if you don't produce, then they're gonna quit saying it about you. So they just need to just keep their feet on the ground and keep working at things. And I think Coach McDonald again does a good job with those guys of keeping them pretty grounded, and always, you know, there's always things that guys can work on. So to me they're working on the little details of their position to you know, to really improve. So we're looking for big things from them. We better have big things from them if we're going to be the kind of defense and the team that we want to be, because they are literally some of our, you know, the best players that we have, and we put a lot on them, and they if they can't cover and their guys are open, then we're going to be in trouble. So they better cover.
Earlier in camp, we heard from Coach McDonald about Kobe kind of wanting to learn how to play nickel corner and embracing that. But is that something you see you guys doing in a game, or would it probably be Damaris McGee, younger guys at nickel corner?
Wait till Thursday, but hopefully if we ever get in those situations. But yeah, he has been practicing in there some, and taking hold of it pretty good. You know, I think he's eager to learn, and I think it helps with his, you know, in his mind, some versatility, and you know, playing on the inside is not just playing on the outside all the time. That's a hard. It's got a lot to know there, and I think he's done a good job of you know, spending some extra time studying and knowing what's going on. So he is one of the guys that can play that when we go to our true nickel. There's other guys also, but so far I haven't seen any reason to say, well, that's not a good fit for him at all. He's done a good job with it so far.
I think 2 years ago, Tommy and DJ were getting 10 to 15 snaps a game. On one hand, how have you seen those reps from 2022 help those guys going into this year, and for guys like Blake and Marcus, how can they maybe earn that role that then can maybe pay dividends later?
Yeah, I would think the Blake Harolds of the world, those guys, that's kind of where they're at right now, you know, where maybe DJ and Tommy were a couple years ago, where you can spot play them, in certain situations and things, and, so I believe that we can get that out of some of those backups, but, yeah, that's just part of the process. It's part of the maturing and the grooming process to get a guy ready to, instead of playing 10 snaps a game, I can play, 40. And, we're counting on those guys in there. Talking about DJ and Tommy and Caleb Taylor and, counting on those guys to be, pretty stout in there, and I think they all can be. So, but, that's a position again where we're gonna play 4, 5, 6 guys a game sometimes, depending on the situation. So you do need some depth there, and you gotta keep developing that depth, and really they gotta get opportunities, if they gotta get meaningful opportunities if you are gonna develop depth in that position. So we're gonna make that stuff happen, and again, it's production. So if they're doing the job they should, then they keep getting those reps, and maybe increase as time goes on. If they don't, well, there's a lot of competition there, so we'll find the right guys.
What does the defense need to do to qualify success for you in the season opener?
It's about us. So we have our standards of how we want to play and what we want to do. You've heard me say this before probably a lot of times, but we need to play hard, we need to play fast, we need to be physical, we need to do things in a sound fundamental way, and we need to do them from snap 1 to snap 60 or however many snaps we have. And so we're going to prepare for what we know of our opponent, and make sure that we understand what they're doing and how we fit up to things. But quite honestly, just like any game, it's more about what you do than what somebody's going to try to do to you. And so we just need to not make any assumptions about anybody, not take anything for granted. We haven't won a game yet. They haven't won a game yet. We've accomplished nothing so far. So, let's do the very best that we can, and then we'll let the results speak for themselves.
Anything else for Coach Borland? All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Brian.